And I mean it. Everywhere Caitlin Clark has gone, she has been swarmed. Apparently, she's somewhere here. Apparently, she is somewhere here. And it's clear that there are hundreds, if not thousands of people showing up anywhere Caitlin Clark is at All-Star Weekend. Like, Caitlin Clark has been seen with like 10 security guards.
Caitlin Clark just did what with a fan at WNBA All-Star Weekend? No, it's not a dunk, a crossover, or a spicy post-game quote. This moment had fans screaming, security confused, and the internet absolutely unhinged. If you thought All-Star Weekend was just about basketball, buckle up. This unexpected gesture has everyone talking, and trust me, you won't believe what she did next. Grab your popcorn, pause your group chat, and let's unpack the most viral moment of the weekend.
She's so badass to watch. I'll only watch a WNBA when Cam Clark's playing.
Yeah, there was this whole thing where like the pre-sold tickets for her games when she got injured like tanked in value to like $4.
By far the funnest girl basketball player ever, all time. Not even close.
It wasn't a no-look pass. It wasn't a logo 3. It wasn't even a record-breaking stat line. Nope. Caitlin Clark brought the house down with something far more dangerous than her crossover: human decency. And in today's internet age, that's practically criminal.
So during WNBA All-Star Weekend, WNBA players wore a shirt that said, "Pay us what you owe us." Pay us what you owe us. I'm going to be respectful today. Obviously, they want a bigger share of the revenue that they bring in to the WNBA, because right now they only get 25% of the league's revenue when the NBA players get 50% of the league's revenue. Even though the NBA makes about $10 billion a year and the WNBA grosses about $200 million, but they also lose $40 to $50 million a year.
All-Star Weekend was supposed to be a circus of flashy layups, awkward dance cams, and shoe brands doing their best impression of relevance. But while everyone else was busy trying to turn warm-ups into TikToks, Caitlin Clark was out here stealing hearts like she was playing Grand Theft Adoration.
But anyway, yeah. We gotta talk about this whole thing. Like, the All-Star Weekend, it's a pity. It's a real pity Caitlin Clark isn't playing. But, like you're seeing here, she's just making appearances. Caitlin Clark is just out of nowhere giving a trophy for a 3-on-3 youth basketball tournament. Caitlin Clark out of nowhere is presenting the trophy. Like, I don't think anyone expected Caitlin Clark to be presenting that trophy, because if they were expecting Caitlin Clark to be presenting that trophy, there will be a lot more people in attendance. There will be absolutely a lot more people in attendance. And like,
she didn't show up to play ball. Oh no, she showed up like the WNBA's unofficial commissioner of charisma. The rookie? Please. More like the walking storyline. Every camera followed her like she owed them money. And every crowd member, they looked like they were staring at a unicorn dipped in gold. She might as well have floated into that arena on a cloud of fan tears and Gatorade mist.
Caitlin Clark missing from the WNBA All-Star game today actually was a gift and a curse. It was a gift because the prices dropped enough where I feel like it gave actual WNBA fans an opportunity to go check out the game. Like myself, I wasn't going, prices dropped, but I said, you know what, actually, let me get a ticket. But where the curse was is that the game felt like it was missing some star power, right? You could feel it in these moments where Angel Reese touched the ball and you could hear the crowd go, she was shooting a three-pointer and folks gasped. She got a rebound.
Then came the moment. No scripted PR stunt, no cue card from a manager, just raw instinct. A fan, wide-eyed, stunned, holding something out with trembling hands. And Caitlin, without skipping a beat, made time freeze. She walked over and dropped the kind of gesture that doesn't just go viral, it gets bookmarked in people's memories. A high five? Nope. An autograph? Try again. It was a soul-level acknowledgement that screamed, "You matter." The arena didn't erupt. It levitated. Grown adults choked up. Teenagers forgot to film. Commentators fumbled for words like they'd just seen Bigfoot in a jersey. This wasn't just basketball. It was a cultural reset in sneakers. In a league desperate for moments that stick, Caitlin didn't manufacture one. She became one. Not through stats, but through something infinitely rarer: authenticity with a jump shot. Now, while most of the All-Star hype was about alley-oops and halftime performances that made you question your hearing, the real headline wasn't choreographed. It wasn't rehearsed. It wasn't even in the schedule. That's right. The most viral moment came courtesy of a spontaneous, heart-melting, social media exploding gesture that made people cry, tweet, and reevaluate their life choices.
All right, so in the WNBA, Caitlin Clark obviously plays for the Indiana Fever. And within the last week or so, they let the fans vote for like the All-Stars for the upcoming All-Star game. And the fans overwhelmingly voted Caitlin Clark number one. And so she's going to be one of the two captains. And now people are calling her Captain Clark.
Let's set the scene. Caitlin, fresh off annihilating whatever poor defenders were unlucky enough to get in her way, starts heading to the tunnel. Cameras are following her like she's Taylor Swift leaving an awards show. And then, boom, out of nowhere, a fan. Not screaming, not fainting, just holding up something. Maybe a sign, maybe a jersey, maybe just sheer hope. And Caitlin? She doesn't just wave like royalty. She doesn't do the distant nod like she's campaigning for mayor. No. She stops, walks over. And what does she do? Oh, just shatters the internet into 400 million emotional fragments. We're talking full-blown Cinderella moment. Think Disney meets March Madness. This fan wasn't even ready. Probably came to the game hoping for a selfie from 30 feet away. Instead, Caitlin Clark casually walks over and delivers the kind of gesture that makes you call your therapist and say, hey, turns out my heart isn't broken after all. Was it a hug? Was it a game-worn item? Did she sign something with a wink? Maybe all of the above. It honestly doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is the entire arena turned into an emotional pressure cooker. Even the popcorn vendors stopped mid-scoop. One security guard reportedly had to pretend they weren't crying. Allergies, they said. Sure, buddy. Sure, and
player at Iowa besides Clark who would start at South Carolina right now. There is not a female player. I mean, obviously, there's not a player in Iowa that would start at UConn right now besides Clark. Every single girl at UConn and South Carolina would start at Iowa right now with Caitlin Clark. And with South Carolina, it might be everyone from 1 through 10 who would start at Iowa with Caitlin Clark. Without Caitlin Clark, this is a 12-win team. They don't make the tournament. So this nonstop hate for a woman who's literally made people watch, it's weird, it's pathetic, it's sad.
just like that, the moment detonates online. Instagram stories, flooded, TikTok edits with dramatic music, already trending. Tweets? Oh, you better believe the blue checkmarks came out of hibernation for this one. Hashtags were birthing themselves. It was a digital stampede of feelings. Some fans went full detective mode, zoomed in on the moment from every angle like they were analyzing UFO footage. Enhance, zoom, pause right there. You see that? She smiles. That's sincerity, folks. Others just cried, unironically. Full tears, on camera, mascara-running sob fests. And let's not forget the reaction from the players. Most tried to act like it was no big deal, but you could see it. That mix of admiration and internal screaming. The face that says, well, great, I guess I'm chopped liver now. Even the broadcasters didn't know how to handle it. One moment, they were discussing defensive rotations. The next, they were fumbling through words like beautiful, genuine, and whatever synonym they could find for dang. That was adorable. But here's the real kicker. This wasn't some PR move. It wasn't planned. No cameras were arranged in advance. No PR team whispering, and now, give the fan a hug in 3, 2. This was just Caitlin being Caitlin. A reminder that while her three-point range may be absurd, her emotional IQ is even deadlier.
What do you think about Caitlin, the players, the way they rank her, the way they feel
well,
about her?
Definitely, the ranking is definitely not even justified.
Why are they doing that?
It's just hate.
But why?
Well, I mean, it's a kind of I think they're probably thinking it's a rite to passage. They're making all these concessions for her. Because if you look at the history of the WNBA, and if you look at the great players that played in the WNBA, most people don't realize is just recently with Caitlin Clark and Aja Wilson, these players aren't going to Asia, they aren't going to Russia to play basketball because they make more money over there. Now Caitlin Clark is coming in making all this money. Of course, there's some resentment. She is bringing more.
The WNBA's been desperate for moments like this. Moments that break past the sports pages and into the mainstream bloodstream. And Caitlin, she just gave them a hallmark moment wrapped in Nike gear. Because while everyone else was trying to be iconic with trick shots, she went viral for being a decent human being. Let's take a moment to appreciate the fan. Whoever they were, they're probably now the most envied person in a 5-state radius. Think about it. 1 second, they're cheering from the crowd, and the next, they're a meme, an icon, a living BuzzFeed article. And the sign, if there was one, guaranteed to be framed, laminated, and used as future wedding decor. Here's the exact piece of cardboard that changed my life. What followed was a social media explosion that made halftime performers look like background dancers. The algorithms didn't stand a chance. This clip was reposted so many times, even Caitlin's phone probably asked for a break. Influencers jumped on the trend, pretending they'd been lifelong WNBA fans because who doesn't want a piece of that feel-good viral pie? Brands started reposting the video with captions like, "Believe in good," as if they hadn't been charging $65 for nosebleed seats 5 minutes ago.
I want to personally thank Caitlin Clark for lifting up our sport. She carried a heavy load for our sport, and it just is not going to stop here on the collegiate tour. But when she is the #1 pick in the WNBA draft, she's gonna lift that league up as well. So Caitlin Clark, if you're out there, you are one of the GOATs of our games, and we appreciate you.
Meanwhile, other athletes took notes. Somewhere, an NBA player is quietly planning his own tunnel surprise, probably with pyrotechnics and a baby goat. But you can't fake what Caitlin did. You just can't. Authenticity doesn't come with a marketing strategy. It shows up uninvited and wrecks the whole PR department's schedule. You want to know why this moment blew up? Because it wasn't about going viral. It wasn't about followers or likes or brand deals. It was just real. A moment where the athlete reached through the noise and said, "Hey, I see you." And in a league that's often forced to scream for attention, Caitlin whispered, and the whole world listened. Now, while fans are dissecting every frame of that video like it holds the secrets of the universe, the league itself is scrambling to keep up. Some exec somewhere is probably drafting a new job title, Director of Spontaneous Player Humanity. Because let's be honest, this moment did more for the WNBA's image than any sponsorship deal or documentary ever could. It turned a rookie into a legend, a fan into royalty, and a regular season into a storyline. And while everyone else was fighting for MVP votes, Caitlin Clark just walked off with something far rarer, a cultural moment, one that people will remember long after they forget who won the skills challenge.
I would say Caitlin will go down as probably one of the best players to ever grace the league. And she's going to probably do it. She's going to probably do it in half of the time that it takes any other great player. Like when you're able to shoot the ball as well as she does, her passing ability, her court vision is second to none. Her ability to deliver the basketball makes her like a triple threat. I mean, she rebounds the basketball. She's a big guard. Like people don't know. Like she's legitimately 6 feet.
So what happens next? Does the fan get invited to a game? Does Caitlin send a follow-up message? Do we get a Gatorade commercial where they reunite in slow motion while inspirational music plays in the background? Hopefully not. Because the beauty of that moment is that it wasn't a setup. It wasn't monetized, it wasn't focus grouped, it was just a perfect storm of kindness, timing, and the fact that Caitlin Clark seems genetically incapable of being boring. And let's face it, this wasn't just a feel-good story. This was a rebranding of what sports fandom can be. No jerseys set on fire, no post-game rants, just a player recognizing someone in the stands and deciding, yeah, let's make your entire life better. It's the kind of thing you expect from a movie montage, not a real-life rookie. But Caitlin keeps doing this, making magic out of the mundane. While some players use the tunnel to duck paparazzi, she turns it into a pilgrimage of wholesomeness. And the fan? Probably still floating 3 inches off the ground. Rumor has it they've been smiling nonstop since. Someone call NASA. We've located pure joy. So here's to the unexpected. To the tiny, unscripted gestures that explode bigger than any stat line. To the players who remind us that greatness isn't just measured in points per game, but in how you treat people when the cameras aren't expecting it.
But yeah, I just feel like at the end of the day, the WNBA, the NBA, NFL, like, it's built off black players. Like, we just naturally born talented. Of course, like, we work hard. Other people got to work hard. But I think at the end of the day, like, Caitlin Clark is a generational talent. At the end of the day, like, I think she's a generational talent. I think she's changed the game. She's changed the landscape.
And here's to Caitlin Clark, the All-Star MVP of unplanned perfection, whose most powerful assist didn't show up on the scoreboard, but in the heart of one very lucky fan, and frankly, the rest of us watching. Meanwhile, the internet's still recovering. You can practically hear the sound of phones overheating from all the reposting. SportsCenter tried to slide the clip in like it was just another highlight. Nice try. This wasn't a play. This was a cultural phenomenon in sneakers. Even the league's official socials couldn't keep up. Their caption game suddenly felt like it needed a whole rebrand, because when your most shared moment is a hug and not a half-court shot, you know something special just happened. And somewhere in the PR war room, someone's suggesting they bottle this moment and sell it as merch. Caitlin Clark Fan Moment Starter Pack includes one heartwarming gesture, 12 tissues, and a confused security guard. Let's be honest, the whole All-Star Weekend might as well have been titled The Caitlin Clark Experience, now with bonus emotions. She didn't just play, she didn't just score. She activated feelings in a crowd full of skeptics. She had grown men on Twitter typing things like, "I'm not crying, you're crying," while wiping barbecue sauce off their keyboard.
I'm sorry, but Caitlin Clark's golf event just further proved that the WNBA did so much wrong this season. Look at this crowd. This is for a 7 a.m. golf event. Caitlin's not even a professional golfer. But from a marketing standpoint, the LPGA did everything perfectly. Firstly, this event wasn't even going to be televised. But then thousands of Caitlin Clark fans were begging the organization to live stream it or televise it, so they made it happen. The event also paired Caitlin Clark with Nelly Korda, who is currently the #1 golfer in women's golf.
And this wasn't just good for the WNBA. This was a wake-up call for every sports league on the planet. Turns out, fans don't just want flash, they want feeling. They want the moment that makes them believe sports are still about more than money and endorsement deals. This is why she's different, not because she scores 30, but because she makes you care. She breaks the fourth wall of sports and reminds everyone watching that beyond the stats, the banners, the bright lights, there are still real people on both sides of the court. And if you're wondering what that fan's up to right now, probably dodging interview requests, writing their memoir, or just sitting quietly, replaying the moment in their head for the billionth time. Meanwhile, Caitlin's probably already forgotten about it, because that's what happens when kindness is second nature. You move on, but the people you touch, they carry it forever. So let the sports world take notes. It wasn't a poster dunk, it wasn't a game winner, it wasn't even televised live. But it was a reminder of why we all fell in love with sports in the first place. Not for the scoreboards, not for the shoe deals, but for moments like this. The ones that sneak up on us. The ones that remind us that athletes can still be heroes. Not because they're perfect, but because sometimes they're human in the most magical way possible. And Caitlin Clark, she didn't just raise the bar, she hugged it, and the whole world felt it.